The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located at 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by KGTV Channel 10 in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, January 9th, 2020.
Order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seeing anybody here from the Ministerial Association, so we will move on to the roll call.
Mayor Robertson.
Present.
Councilman Blangus.
Here.
Councilman Carter.
Here.
Councilman Spear.
Here.
Councilman Allred.
Yep.
Councilwoman Dietrich. Here. City Treasurer Trask. Here. Public Works Supervisor Craycraft.
Here.
City Engineer Albert.
Here.
Police Chief Henry.
Here.
Fire Chief Rivera.
Here.
I believe that's all.
Okay. Chairman, Council. All right, we will move on to public comment. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
I have a letter to read. To the Ely City Council. I would like to address item B1 on the agenda for January 9th, 2020, which is to change the time of Ely City Council regular meetings to 1 p.m. I am opposed to the change, and I feel that the regular meetings should remain at 5 p.m. If you change the time to 1 p.m., many citizens will be unable to attend as their work schedules will not permit them time off. Also, you will limit the citizens who could run for a Ely City Council seat in the future. We will be limited primarily to retirees. The day and time change will restrict future office holders who could offer diversification and new ideas. Please retain meetings on Thursday at 5 p.m. Sincerely, Paula Carson.
Burton Hilton. I had 3 items I wanted to address. The first one was B1, changing the meeting to 1 p.m. I am against that. I think having your meetings at either, I would even say 4 would be better than 1, but 5 I think is good for the citizens to be able to come here. Half of the 6 of you I know are working. I am against the county commission having theirs at 9 in the morning. I think it's a detriment to the public to not allow more input. City council, I think, almost always has more public present at their meetings than the county commission does, and I think that's a good thing. Public involvement is a good thing. I just really would caution you against changing it to 1. I think it sends a bad signal that you're trying to shut out the public and not be inclusive. The next item I'd like to address is under the C4, the changing the EMS billing rate schedule. I think there needs to be some more discussion and looking before you raise those fees. These rates are, they're pretty substantial as they are already on. But there's one on there which, if you look, it's EMS 23, treatment no transport, going from $0 to $300. I think that's ridiculous, in my opinion. So if you call an ambulance, or if somebody calls an ambulance for you and you say, I don't want to go, now we're going to charge you $300. I haven't heard of that being a practice anywhere, but I am not super well versed. I've just never heard of charging somebody just because we came if we didn't actually do it. So that's one there. The other one was item C5, changing the rescue extrication billing rate schedule. I'm not inherently opposed to charging for the rescue and extrication, but we haven't even been charging the current rates for years. So how are you going to charge more when you're not even charging your current rate that I'm aware of? If I'm incorrect, please, I hope to be corrected. But those are the 3 items that I wanted to bring up for your consideration. Thank you.
Terry McIntosh with wanted to make a few remarks on the operation of large UTVs on the city streets. According to NRS 490, it is possible to do that. You can either prohibit or okay to use, and it's kind of conflicting in the NRS 490. One paragraph will say it's okay.
Terry, if you wouldn't mind speaking a little closer into the mic.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind speaking a little closer into the mic.
I want to talk about the UTV use on all streets in town. And the language that's in 490. And also in Mr. Pyle's notes, he saw where the city ordinance was conflicting with the state NRS. And it sounds, by his remarks, that he says it's okay. And the speed restriction, I think we need to do away with that. I think it's an unsafe situation. I know the Elko city manager suggested that they don't put it in their ordinance because you have two conflicting speed limits on the same street. And also, before we have a vote on this, I'd like to see the final draft cleaned up because there's quite a bit of clutter in there with the corrections and everything. I'd like to see a cleaned up version of it before it goes to a vote so that there's absolutely no confusion of what's going to be in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Carl Jackson, and I'm talking to you about your OHV ordinance you want to put into place. I bought a OHV a while back, and I licensed with the state, and they told me if I had insurance, that I'd be able to drive it on the street. And so I got registration, just like a registered my pickup. And I don't see nothing wrong with that as long as it's all legal. There's no different than driving a truck or anything else down the street. The problem that I get at, I can't understand this. It's all, the problem I've seen has been here for 30 years. And it's the kids that causes all the problems on four-wheelers. This age thing you got in here about somebody could drive along beside the other one as long as the one's 18 years old, you've got a license. I don't agree with that. You don't have a license, you don't belong on the road. You don't got insurance, you don't belong on the road. And you can insure a four-wheeler, a motorcycle, or a dirt bike, not a motorcycle, a dirt bike. But you cannot register to drive on the street. Side to side, you can't. That's all I have to do. Thank you.
I'll pass this around to you guys.
There'll be a public hearing on this, and that would be the appropriate time to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 10C3, you should consider appointing a council member to the Regional Planning Commission. The only council member that doesn't have a past or present conflict is Councilwoman Beecher. The others that get to clean up their act. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 10B1, you consider possible changing the time for the regular city council meetings to 1 p.m. The move will be a deterrent for those that have to work for a living. I think it's an intentional act against one working woman in particular. And what about Paul Holloway, member of the Utility Board, who continues to miss meetings held at 8 a.m. Missed another one a day. Then we have Councilman Carson, who now holds the distinction, have the most meetings missed, followed by Councilman Brendas, and of course, Mr. Spring, you guy. This item appears to be vindictive, with total disregard for the people you represent, and it needs to be done away with, terminated. If you want to represent the people, that's why you ran for the office. That means you make it easy for them to talk to you. Now close the door. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 10C2 concerning community economic development strategy, there was nothing in the packet for the public to follow. This is the second time I've asked. What's the secret here? Downtown is shrinking. You may be able to spin your wheels, but I can't afford to do that. Mr. Mayor, on your December 30th, 2019 billing, the city paid Rec Brothers LLC $11,500 for patching at the Copper Plain. Where are you patching on private property? Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 10C, 4, 5, and 6, you're to consider increasing fees. The proposed fees are too high and outrageous. 40%, 100%, some way more than that. That's way too much. What happened to 5% increase? Worst case, 10%. The city is destroying what used to be a volunteer service that provided affordable EMS and fire service to its residents. I'm afraid greed seems to be setting in. Where are we going with this, Mayor? Mr. Mayor, on at least 2 different occasions, I have asked for and not received a copy of the time and date stamp of those bids that were submitted for the Georgetown Ranch. We're running out of time here, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, has the water sewer line that was contemplated on Avenue A been completed? Did the owner of the property donate the road and the right-of-way to the city? I've yet to see anything on the agenda, on any agenda. Mr. Mayor, on the recent city council meeting held on January 8, 2020, the commission gave the golf course 3.5% of room tax monies. If you build the water that the golf course has been using, how much are they paying? Do they pay or have they paid for any of the back billing? 3.5% of over $1 million for a golf course?
Thank you, George.
Golfing is a luxury,
Thank you.
not a necessity. You need to be a little more assertive in that, Mayor. I didn't see you at that meeting. I'm not just upset.
Thank you, George. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, and we will move on to item 3, mayor discussion for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. Unless there are any changes, I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. As a reminder, we will have a first and second prior to any discussion on any items with the exception of ordinances. I feel that we should have some discussion on those so we get a motion done correctly instead of having to read the motion a couple times. That's going to be the goal. So, item 4, city department reports, fire chief. Welcome back, Ross.
Good to be here. I'm just able to catch up on speed with a lot of items, a lot of the items on the agenda. You know, I didn't cut up on that. We basically talked about it in-house, but some of the items. So bear with me. I ain't sure if you've been getting your monthly reports since I've been gone. If not, I need to catch up. So I'll have to check about if you received them or not. Is there any questions? Now, see, still getting my feet wet. Again.
Thank you, Ross. Police chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sheriff.
She'd got 2 reports. One was the last quarterly report for 2019, and then the yearly statistics for all 2019 compared to the last 3 years, just to kind of give you a perspective of what took place in your town. So if there are any questions.
Any questions for Sheriff Henry? Okay, thank you. I don't believe Judge Coster's here tonight. City attorney, any reports?
No.
City clerk? Thank you. City treasurer? She is, I believe, working on the audit. City public works supervisor? Anything to report, Mike? Any questions from Mike? City water operator, city engineer?
Our Palmer Street project is getting very close. In fact, we had our land swap agreement, got the landowner signed today. Hopefully the other 2 parties are in the room tonight and we'll get this thing signed off and we'll be good to go. So that was a big hurdle. That was actually due in the next week and a half, but we'll start the later projects coming in just in time. The Another thing that we have just completed is there's a few of our improvements that we have to connect to an existing water service or something where the meter is actually on the property, it's not in the sidewalk or something. So we had to go through and we're getting approval to, make that connection onto that private property. And so there are several locations where that's happening throughout this project. And one of the recommendations in conversations that I had with Jennifer, I think it's something that we should probably implement, but there's some type of form when we turn water on and off. Anytime we turn it on, they got to sign this form that they agree to allow us to come in and work on that water as we have to on that property, much the way when you become a member of the co-op and get power, you have granted that same right. And so over the long term, eventually, maybe we'll get everybody's signature on board to make this happen, so we don't have to continue to deal with it on a project-by-project basis. Another thing that we're dealing with is on this Alton Street project, because the anticipation is that'll be approved and awarded in March, that they'll get going sometime in April. And so we're trying to get ahead of it and get our city crews out there. And so just trying to make sure.
Lift it up, lift it up. That's trying to be nice.
And so what we're trying to accomplish is looking at all the valves we may have to turn off as they're working on this water line. And we want to get ahead of it, we want to go out and exercise those valves so we can get this water off. We surely don't want to have trouble turning the water off that day when we've got a big contractor idling on the street. So what we're preparing is kind of an overall map of the valves that we think that are pertinent to the project. We've come in, we're labeling them, going through whatever number they are, and we'll create a spreadsheet or something where the crews will actually come in, initial the date, time when they actually exercise them, so we got a record of them exercising all these valves. As they come back in, and if they find out valve number 7, they don't feel it's closing, they don't feel it's working right, then we'll come back and we'll add on to it and say, okay, if valve number 7 doesn't work, then we're gonna have to go back to these other blocks and change these valves to make them work. And so our intention is at that point in time, the next valve you step out to would be 7A, 7B, 7C. So we're trying to help them come in here and make it smooth. And hopefully by April, we've exercised these valves multiple times, so that it should hopefully be easy on and off to work. So, we're hoping to get that done, completed actually probably early next week, have that done, get that to the guys so they can start working on the field and doing that. Those are some of our major things going on. We do have our street certification coming up in February. We'll get that stuff together. We'll have a public hearing the first week in February, certifying our roads, and so we'll get that together for that meeting. And I may have expressed it before, but we did get our affluent plan draft out, and it's over to Raul, so he's reviewing it. When we get his comments back, we'll incorporate any of those comments, and then we'll get that to the state where we can complete with that. So, any other questions?
Anything for the engineer?
No, thank you guys.
City building official? Nothing to add. Nothing to report. With that, I will turn the gavel over to Mayor Pro Tem for item 5.
Nevada Northern Railway Foundation report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I apologize that my report wasn't sent in earlier. We have been very busy down at the railroad, and I'm happy to report that all of the 2-inch boiler tubes on locomotive 81 have been installed, and the only other tubes we have are about 6 of the big superheater tubes. We have the tubes, we just have to install them. The other thing is, on our ridership, we did take a hit in December. We went from 2,443 passengers, and we had a decrease of 1,087 from the previous year. The reason for this decrease is twofold. We changed our program from the Polar Express to Santa's Reindeer Flyer. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, 2 railroad museums in Los Angeles County have started offering the Polar Express, and that definitely, we took a hit there too. I mean, why drive 500 miles when you can do it in your own county? So, we saw this before when the B&T started offering the Polar Express. We saw a decrease in ridership from the Reno area and also from San Francisco. Our year-to-date ridership is at for last year, it was for 15,131 passengers, down 933. It was a 5% decrease from the previous year. 2017-18 were record years for us, so while I'm disappointed we didn't beat last year, we did beat 2016 by 892 riders. Based on our preliminary bookings so far for 2020, I expect us to rebound in 2020. So, and since operations began in 1987, we've carried 304,530 passengers. So, we did get 2 media placements in December. Trains Magazine, Nevada Northern recreates 1956 Pontiac station wagon. And then this is Reno, Nevada rail car now on display at the National Auto Museum. I'll get to that in just a moment. We were challenged in December to raise $210,000. I'm happy to report, thanks to the generosity of our members, we actually raised $241,000 in a month. So, and whereas that is an astounding number, we are spending it almost as fast as it comes in the door. So, the big push is to get Locomotive 81 out the door this year. Locomotive 40 does go out of service, currently scheduled on May 20th of 2020. I have a letter into the Federal Railroad Administration asking for a grace period of 3 months. Whether or not they'll grant that is anybody's guess. So, yeah, so we're going to try for that. And then on the last page of the report, we did complete our 1956 Pontiac station wagon, and our vendor who did the final work on it was in Sparks. We approached the National Automobile Museum in Reno to ask if we could display it there through the course of the winter, and they graciously agreed to that. And so it is on display at the National Automobile Museum in the same room as the Thomas Flyer. The Thomas Flyer is the car that drove around the world. And when it came through Nevada, it actually went from Cobrae on the north end of the railroad, followed the railroad all the way to Ely. So it's kind of cool to have that in the same room as the Thomas Flyer. Our plan is to bring it here sometime in February, so for the photo shoots. The other thing is the 2020 calendar is out, and we'll be distributing them around town, and it does have our train schedule in it. So we brought some for City Hall so you can post them where the public can see them. So that's about it. Our next big event is the shooting fireworks off the back of a moving train for the 11th year in a row. So that happens during the Fire Nights Festival. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Oh. We have, okay. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Mark. Pass the gavel back to you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 6, reports, City Council. Ernie, we'll start with you tonight.
I have nothing to report at this time.
No report. Ed?
Well, actually, I had the misfortune of spending a cold night with some of the city crew in front of my son's house. Looking, I was kind of pretty some concern to me is that our guys were out there working and it was bitter cold, just after bitter cold. So we went and got a heater, a patio heater, and got some stuff so they could actually be warm. I think that we have an incredible crew working for the city of Ely. And we need to provide them with a little better equipment and a way to get the job done quicker and easier than it was that night. It was just horrible. I plan on looking at that with the budget as well, see if we can do it, because that was not a fun night to be out in that street, busting up tools. They just turned into a nightmare down there. That's all.
Okay, Jim?
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Michelle?
Nothing to report, but I would like to welcome Caroline, welcome to town and to the city council, and also thank the DA's office and the job that they did stepping in to help out when we were shorthanded, and that was great to see that collaboration, but welcome.
I brought Kyle Horvath for my report tonight. I thought he could just give us a quick update on what the plan is for Fire and Ice.
Cool.
As we won't be having it up at the lake, so.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for yielding some of your time for me to make the report. Some council members. As you know, the conditions at Cave Lake, ice-wise, are variable, not just because they're lowering the lake levels, but just because we've had a lot of warmth lately. So at the request of Steve Gray, who did not feel that it would be safe to pile snow on variable ice, we looked for an alternative location. And speaking with the mayor and speaking with some other people around town, Broadbent Park was identified as a suitable location to host an event, albeit smaller than Cave Lake and not quite as picturesque. It's better than canceling the event altogether. Now, last year when we did Fire and Ice, we lumped in a whole bunch of different stuff into the festival, so that no matter what the weather provided, there was always going to be something going on for Fire and Ice. And so, in its usual form, Mother Nature, we've got the fire taken care of, but we're still praying for the snow and ice all the way up to. So I know the storm's coming in, but essentially, on Saturday, it'll kick off with the Bristlecone Birkenbeiner race. You'll have the Lincoln Day breakfast before that, the Bristlecone Birkenbeiner, which is the cross-country ski, snowshoe, and fat bike race. There'll be some music and art stuff going on downtown, leading into a dart tournament at the VFW Hall at 11 o'clock. Bowling tournament starts at Sunset Lanes at 1. I believe the train is going out for a birthday train ride at 1 o'clock, and then it'll come back and leave again at 4:30 for the fireworks train. There's going to be a billiards tournament going on at Club Rio that'll end right when the fireworks get shot off the back of the train at 6 p.m. And then we're hoping that everybody comes down to the train yard like last year. We've got the NDF Honor Camp working on another artistic sculpture. Last year they made an amazing wooden elk, and I want to thank Ross for letting us shoot a flaming arrow at it and light it on fire. We've got a new sculpture this year, and hopefully a new way to light it on fire that won't raise anybody's blood pressure, and it'll work out good. So I'm not going to say what that sculpture is yet, but it's even bigger and even better. So after that, karaoke will start at Club Rio. They've got some live music downtown that night, and that'll go ahead and kick off Saturday. On Sunday, that's where we'd like to utilize Broadbent Park. I'm hoping that it's going to be snowing this weekend. What I would ask for permission is that anybody who's entering in the snow sculpture competition be able to put their forms up in the park this weekend, so that if it does snow, they're going to be able to start piling stuff in. If there's enough snow where the city has to plow the streets, I might request that the snow get dumped close to Broadbent Park. If we need to supplement snow to put into the forms for the snow sculptures, potentially using the auger to chunk that pile up and throw it into Broadbent Park. I mean, we're really spitballing here, but again, we're trying to make everybody's favorite part of this event still happen, And I've already talked with my board members about possibly buying a real ski resort level snowmaking machine for the following years, because we can't go on with this amazing event, keeping our fingers crossed 1 week beforehand whether the best part of the event is going to happen or not. So we are taking measures to try to combat Mother Nature's fickleness. But on Sunday, the sculptures will be out there. We're gonna do a beginner guided snowshoe hike up on Ward Mountain. I know Wayne's been talking with you about the terrace ice skating rink, and it looks like that's probably not gonna work. So the chamber events like the ice horseshoes, ice bowling, we'd like to